Hi my dear subscribers, today we talk about the reasons why ladies can reject men, and I will share with you the top 10 reasons why it happens according to my experience of working in this field, and again of course from the personal experience of my friends, girls, and of course men. And let's discuss it. Please put like to this video and subscribe us if you didn't yet. So why women reject men? We will talk about the cases of rejection not only after the first date, but in the initial stage of relationships, maybe when you had 2-3 dates and women reject you. And I will talk again as usually about Ukrainian women because I know their mentality. I originally come from Russia myself, but I live here 16 years already in Ukraine, and I can share with you what Ukrainian ladies think and how they usually behave. Of course, it doesn't say everything about the women all around the globe. I believe American women, they are kind of different. So let's keep in mind that I talk only about Ukrainian women and maybe Russian too. When men meet a woman, and when lady shares with us why she doesn't want to continue with men, one of the top reasons is bad manners of men, and it's concerned about everything that happened during the meeting. For example, his behavior in a restaurant, his behavior with a waitress, his not opening the door for her, not following the etiquette, or not being neat while eating or drinking, or giving strange sounds. So all this is called bad manners, and it has to deal with the etiquette. But actually not many of our clients have problems with it or issues, but sometimes ladies share what they experienced before. The second reason is negativity. It's being negative about everything or almost everything you talk about, including your ex. Actually, in one of my videos I told that it's better to miss the topic of ex during the first dates, at least, so you can tell about the reason of your divorce, but better not to go into details how bad your ex was. Better to say some kind words about her if possible. If not, then just keep silence. And this negativity can concern everything, other sides of life too, like being not happy with policy in the world, not being happy with virus, with the economy, and so on and so on. And it can start with little things that like when man doesn't like the restaurant where he is now with this woman, or some other things in life. So I understand that actually it's more about personality of man, and if you are like that, most probably you can't change it because it goes deeply from your nature. It's not just about manners, but maybe it can be the reason for you to work on it, if possible. If you are who are watching me have this issue. If not, just keep in mind that it doesn't cause good emotions from the lady when she hears that the man is constantly unhappy about everything around. The third reason is talking too much. Sometimes ladies tell us that I spent time with this man, we talked, but mostly he talked and I just kept silence, and it seems he's not interested in me, he's only talking, and it's time for himself only. Of course, if you are interested in mutual relationships and if you are really interested in a woman, most probably you will want to ask her about her life, her hobbies, and so on. But sometimes, yes, it happens that man only talk about himself and he doesn't leave any space for her. And if it continues like 30-40 minutes and more, woman starts to lose the interest, or she feels you are not interested in her at all and you don't appreciate your time together, and so on. So better to keep balance when you talk with a woman, when you meet with her for the first time and the following. Just keep the balance between talking, asking questions, and listening to her. I understand that men, in many cases, men try to do their best on the first date, and they try to show the best sides of themselves. So I'm more understanding about such men sometimes, but of course, if it happens every date and you only talk, and woman just listens all the time, then most probably she won't be happy with it, and in some times she can reject. So also one of the reasons that can be the rejection, among rejection reasons, it's talking too much about your children on the first date. As usual, as we explain it to the woman too, when people just met for the first times, mostly they should be interested in each other and they can mention children. But until they fall in love with each other, and they are actually, the partner is not so much interested in her children or in his children. So it's better to spend the first meetings devoting your time to your partner, talking about his life, her personality, her life, and so on. But not talking about too much about children, because some men, they are so proud of their kids. They start to show many pictures, what they gained, which grades they get in the schools, which competitions they took part in, and so on and so on. And during the first meetings, it can be not so much interesting for the woman. Just it's enough to say some words about your children, what they do, how much you love them, how you care, and then you go to another topic. The other reason of rejection is being greedy. And how women can notice it, we discussed it with you in other videos too. I don't advise you to buy expensive gifts for the first dates. For sure, just keep yourself adequate in your behavior. But at the same time, if a man doesn't want to give a tip to waitress or give just like 5 hryvnias or 10 hryvnias, it's a funny amount of money actually. And a woman notices it usually and in many cases, and it doesn't make her excited for the continuation with you, and it can be the reason of rejection. But again, the topic of finances, being greedy or generous, it's very, it's actually not easy, and you should feel the facet between being greedy, being adequate, or being too generous. So if when our couples date after the meetings, they usually can consult with us, and they can ask the advice if necessary, because really it's not so easy topic. And for example, I noticed that European men, they are more pragmatic than men from the US or Australia or Canada. And sometimes they are not getting along very well with our culture in this aspect. Sometimes yes, sometimes not, so different stories. So if you're not sure, and you can ask me, and I can give you advice from my experience, from what I had in the practice. Also, as I mentioned, the other reason, the 6th reason actually, it's not asking the lady some questions. So if you are interested in her, you should have some questions, and you should pay her some attention, and you should ask her. Because as I told, if you just talk about yourself, or you keep silence all the time and you don't ask anything about her, then it means you are not interested. A woman gets sad, and she just understands you are not interested, and in some time she will say no if you continue to do this. The 7th point is having a bad outfit or not being neat enough. So again, with our clients before the meetings, depending on the client, we have sessions sometimes when we talk about your image for the first date, and for the following I give the recommendations of some YouTube channels for men to look after your style, because it won't take too much of your time to upgrade your style if necessary. Just maybe a few days of studying this, or few weeks, maybe help of some stylist to choose the best clothes for you, and so on. But it will remarkably change the impression of girls when you meet them. And today, in one of my live streams, we talk about your outfit, your appearance, and its influence on the first dates. But now again in this video I want to pay your attention to this point. It's not easy to correct if you have some issues with style or if you are unsure, but it will give you much more bonuses, much more advantages, and much more better future when you meet girls and when you try to set up long-lasting relationships. So also being pushy, being too much touching, trying to kiss her in a very pushy way is the reason why women can reject sometimes. I had a discussion with my Canadian client recently. We talked about this touching, kissing topic in the culture of Ukraine and his country, and we found we are really different in it. In Canada, he told it's not a problem sometimes to kiss a girl, hug her a lot during the first meeting, but in our country, depending on the lady, it can be a problem. Some women are just not ready for being close so quickly during the first date. If she doesn't have wild passion for you from the first meeting, then better to wait to learn each other, and then she will allow you to be closer to her. But please don't be too pushy with touching, because if she is not ready yet, it will be kinda even not pleasant for her. So don't make her feel like that. Again, the nature of men and women is different. So I know that if you men, you see a pretty woman and you like her, you can immediately want to touch her and so on. But the nature of women is different. They choose. They need time usually to understand the man, and if she is ready to allow him to be closer. So just be patient. The other reason, it's quite close to the previous point, it's a ninth reason already, it's being too much intrusive after the first meeting or during the one, calling her too much, texting her too much, requiring constantly from her that she would answer you immediately, and so on and so on. It's too much. Actually, if she has a busy life, if she has work, maybe has children, most probably she needs some time for her life too. And when men are too pushy, and sometimes women even feel that there is some problem, mental problem with this man if he's constantly trying to reach you without any pause. So just you have your own life too. Just maybe plan your time of talking with this woman, or sometimes write her, but don't be too intrusive, like sending 50 messages right away to the lady. It's being too intrusive. Sending good morning in the morning and how are you in the evening, it's normal. And the same is considered your meetings. If you come here for a week or more and you are trying to meet her several times per day, it's not normal. It's too intrusive, and in these cases women get even frightened, and they can think about some problems with this man. And again, the other reason, last one, it's connected with your behavior too. It's being too shy. I talked again about it in my other videos, that I noticed European and American men Australian men also, sometimes they are too shy, they are waiting for the woman to make these first steps, but in Ukraine we prefer active men who can take initiative and who can show their strengths this way too. So if you are too shy, it's also not so good for building relationships with Ukrainian women, and if you are too much shy, it can be the reason why a woman can reject you. What means being too shy? It's, you know, like in some comedies you can see the scenes when men ask a woman, okay, may I kiss you? It's not normal, of course. If you don't invite her for the second and following dates and you wait for her first to write you, it's being too shy. What else? The same is about hugging. You just need to feel the right moment when she's ready and when she even waits it. And if you don't do any action at this moment, you are considered to be too shy too. I guess there are many other ways when it's obvious that you are too shy, but I described the most obvious what we see in practice. So that's all for today, and please share with me what you met in your life. I mean, why when you got rejection, what was the reason usually from your girl, if it happened in your life, or share the experience of your friends. I'm interested to know about your experience. And subscribe us, like this video, and I will wait for your comments. Have a nice day, and see you soon in new videos and live streams. Goodbye.